Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thanks again for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. We're taking a quick look here again at Solana, seeing what's going on. We're going to double check some backend data here, kind of see where we're at with liquidation, but we have completed our ABC pattern for our, Elliott Wave essentially, implying that we could be starting a new one, of course, but if you take kind of the opposite effect here and you reverse it, we could be starting our, ABC pattern to the upside, okay? Which again, really just implies that we might have one more leg up before the price pulls back. We're going to talk about a few different scenarios here and just kind of see where we're at. This could be a little early, of course, to get in my opinion, for a long. We could very well see that $100 to 94 range retested, as I mentioned previously. And now, when we look at liquidation here, this is the last 12 hours, just to kind of specify. It's the same on both sides. Not really too much to note there. We want to look at a little bit larger time frames to kind of help identify bigger movements, okay? Now, again, keep in mind, massive amount of liquidation at 115. Is that price going to just shoot up to that level because of that? No. It just implies that we got a lot of shorts and profit at 115, and there's a decent chance that that level could be retested eventually. Okay? So I don't think it's going to happen necessarily right now, but generally speaking, that is a thing. All right. Same thing as well here with the monthly. We can see just as much, right about 92.50 is that next lower level there, which is a much heavier concentration than 115 if you zoom out, right? So again, some merit there. We can also see $100 even as a next level of liquidation. So wouldn't be surprised if we see one more sweep to that, sub 100 level, maybe get in a long around 98 bucks and write it out from there. And maybe, even consider a second entry at 94, right? That's kind of where my mind's going here for the moment. Do I think the price is going to drop to that level? No, but it just depends on Bitcoin, really. That's just the bottom line. Bitcoin is exuding some strength right now, but we kind of got that point of control, as some would call it, right there at about 51,800. Basically, just the volume profile telling us that there's a lot of resistance at 51.8. So we'll see here, of course, if Bitcoin can surpass that level or if it decides it wants to continue lower. A lot of that hinges on, so the success of Solana hinges on Bitcoin doing, just at least being stable, right? The last 3 or 4 days of trading here for Solana has been pretty red, and Bitcoin's been kind of going sideways, but it has like these aggressive candle wicks to the downside. So it's just kind of that natural Bitcoin dominance progression. And now that Bitcoin dominance is kind of stabilizing, we could see some altcoins surge. We are closing above 103 here, and we have for the last 3 days. We've retested 103 3 times in a row. Now, again, the more you test something, the more it is to break, right? But on the same accord, we can presume 103 will support until it doesn't. Okay? That's generally what we're looking at there for the daily time frame there. Let's quickly note a couple of things here before we move on. We're below the 20-day SMA, not fantastic. We can also see stochastic swinging down, so this is also a bearish sign. However, you got to recognize once it does find its bottom, there's a decent chance we could pivot, which is once more possibly at that 103 mark. If we take a look here, we're at 50 on the RSI. This is kind of do or die here for Solana. We close at below the basically $104 mark right now. Then we will probably see the price continue lower. The money flow index is decreasing as well. I'm not super concerned with that on the daily, but we do have a MACD divergence too. So this divergence could continue to form for a while. So again, as per usual, we want to wait for confirmation. But to me, if today can close at 104 or higher, we might have a leg to stand on. If we close at just say 103, 102, I would presume we're going to see somewhere in the range of 98 to 94 retested. Again, those are just some key fib levels as well as heavy concentrations of liquidation just at those ranges there. Okay, so I'd much rather wait for a good long here than to short to it. Personally, I don't like shorting Solana, even though in hindsight, I was talking about the price pulling back a couple of days ago and it did. So, we could have probably taken some profit there. But the truth is, in this market right now, the overall trend hasn't proven to be bearish yet, right? So if the overall trend for Bitcoin is still bullish in the overall sense, right, then we can presume altcoins, whether or not they move up or down, it's more risky to short than it is to long. Okay? That's, again, the concept that I have. So if you're in my community wondering why we're not shorting our shirts off right now because everything's in red, there's a lot of reasons behind that. It just doesn't make a ton of sense shorting into a bullish market. Again, we could be at the top, the immediate top. A lot of people are calling for 38,000 or something along those lines. I don't think we're going to see that. But again, leading into the Bitcoin halving, it's very common for prices to pull back leading into it. And all we've really done is go up. So anyways, a little psychology there. But 4-hour time frame, let's double check a couple things here. Stochastic is kind of maxed out. Looks like it wants to pull back. We're still under 50 on the RSI, and we're under 30 on the money flow. So these are all bearish signs, okay? Again, you could have bought the dip yesterday when the stochastic was low and money flow index was low. That's just a general, as I mentioned yesterday, You don't want to buy that dip, but that's typically successful, right? So some people did, in fact, and they got a good 3 to 4% times whatever leverage they used. But to me, I don't really love seeing that. We do have a MACD convergence here that's almost turned into an MACD FU, so I would just be careful again trading along right now, because it looks like it wants to break out, but honestly, it hasn't yet. We're still above the 200-day SMA, but below all 4 moving averages. So these are mostly bearish signs. These are not signs you want to take a long position into. We can also double check too, if you kind of see here, there's this line here as well, right about 107. It's kind of like a retest there. The most recent low is kind of a candlestick close. We wicked up perfectly to that level. So 107 to me seems like a resistance level. Unless we can close above 107 or higher, I don't really think we're going to be in a position where the price action will look favorable to take a long. And I know what you're thinking too. Why wait for 107 when I can take a long right now? I get that question a lot. The truth is we don't know we're going to hit 107. And the fact that we rejected off that hard and continued lower here since tells me that there's a lot of resistance there. Not only based on moving averages, but most recent lows turned into new highs. Okay. So again, it's a standard procedure here. Price action bounces off that level, works as a strong support, comes back down, tries to break through, does eventually, and then of course, after that, comes back up to retest that level and gets rejected. So really, really common occurrences there. That's why support and resistance levels are really important to recognize and kind of pay attention to. Let's quickly look at the Ichimoku cloud and confirm here. This is another bearish sign. In other words, lagging spans not free to clear the price action. Conversion line is above the baseline, showing we have good momentum. But momentum means nothing if we're underneath the cloud. Okay, so until we can again close above that level, preferably 107, even to say I'll take a 106 in 24 hours. If Solana can close 106 or higher tomorrow, green light, right? But between now and then, I would say 107 to be safe, so we can get above that most recent resistance level, that rejection zone that we saw here hit already. Okay, so again, do you want to short into this? No, but you're going to have statistically more likelihood of success if you short Solana right now than you take it long. That's just kind of the bottom line. Once again, Bitcoin has a great day today and closes at 52K, 52.5. Then I would say Solana is going to take off, right? That's the caveat here. It's always the caveat. You got to be aware of that and be mindful. It's just a constant thing. But if Bitcoin just continues to do what it's been doing with this little shenanigans up and down, Solana is going to continue to bleed out until we hit that lower level, the sub $100 mark. I would say between 94 and 98. So 94 to 98 is my sweet spot. I'm going to have some limit orders ready for that and preferably take a long position if the price comes down that low. Between now and then, am I going to short? Probably not, even though I probably should, if that makes any sense. Okay. Again, I don't like shorting in uptrends. And we're still technically in an uptrend, no matter how you look at it. Bitcoin is still looking very bullish right now. Okay, there's a reason it's holding its price point at 51,000 so strong. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Please continue to add your spot bags whenever possible, but I would say waiting on Solana for long would be at least a very safe play, if you will. But you let me know how that works out for you. I hope you learned something today. Of course, if you want to become a better trader, cryptocash.tech is a site. Link down below. We actually have some really nice short profits there from Avalanche. We took some nice profits there. And then, again, Dogecoin, ICP, Bitcoin, Reef over the weekend. It was a nice little profit weekend. But again, we're in that little lull right now, just kind of waiting for some nice longs here to give us some opportunities. And again, careful shorting, but if you do, just low leverage, low position sizing at this point, just again, because we are technically still in an uptrend. All right, folks. Thanks again for watching. We'll look forward to seeing the next one. Have a great rest of the day. Take care.